We're joined by Justin Blake. Justin, I know that this is not the moment that you expected or hoped to see, but what's your reaction for our audience back in Chicago who is hearing this, and to the larger community here in Kenosha? What do you want them to know?
Assalamu alaikum, family. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Everybody, please take a deep breath. What we saw here was a terrible, tragic injustice. These young men were trying to support my nephew, Jacob Blake, who was shot in the street 7 times in the back in front of their children. And Anthony was his friend. It almost tore his heart out. He thought by coming out to peacefully protest was the way to handle things, until police officers fired rubber bullets at him in this field that we're standing in, which pushed them into Sheridan Avenue and on into the militia. The mayor, the police chief, the people who are running the army have blood on their hands today. This isn't just an attack on African Americans. I keep saying that. With the thing on January 6th down at the up in D.C., this is an attack on our diplomacy, on our democracy. So you can sit back and say it's not your people and it's not us, and let the first domino fall. But this is a direct attack on our democracy and republic that we live in.
I think a lot of people are concerned about what happens now. What would your message be to the young people of this community going forward as they react to this verdict?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to sing no violin song and say be peaceful. I want everybody to try to be as peaceful as they can. But as Martin Luther King said, there's a check out there that's overdue for African Americans. We made this country the greatest country in the world for 300, 400 years of free slavery. We need ours like yesterday. We need that check cashed. We need it brought to our people and cashed. This president, Biden and Harris, sold out our family. Sold out the Floyds and sold out Bianca Austin and the Taylor family. They said they were going to do things to square up what was going on in our African American community, and have not. So juries like this will continue to happen until the president, that we change this state from a red state to a blue state. The first state that he won was here, and gave him great momentum to go in there. I didn't need a ticket to go up there to the White House when he got inaugurated. We need to bring something tangible back to our communities. And this was a god-awful sight for the whole world to see, the racism, the underbelly of racism that runs throughout this country in every jurisdiction.
Was this an expected verdict? And now that it's happened, how do you explain this to people?
We don't know the intricacies of criminal justice. This is why we fight every day for criminal justice reform. The judicial bias with this judge, the behavior of this judge, the way he was treated as a defendant. There's not a black or brown defendant in Kenosha County or any other county that can come up actually missing while on bail. After they find him, they release him back on bail. There is not a black or brown defendant who can commingle with other people in nefarious backgrounds and it not be brought into evidence. So we don't know. Black pastors can't go to a courtroom in Brunswick, Georgia. Black people can't go into legal proceedings in Charlottesville, Virginia. I mean, the challenge that America has with this verdict is this the country that you want? Because this is not the country that we want. We want equal protection under the law. The fact that Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum was white, racism is more deadly than COVID. It is indiscriminate. It doesn't just affect white people, it affects all of humanity. And our challenge now is to use peace, protest, and civil disobedience to continue to move this forward. We must continue to fight for equal protection under the law. This verdict is outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous.
How does the rest of the country, or should the rest of the country, view what happened here today in Kenosha? And Justin, we'll go to you first.
Well, see, it sets precedence. That's what people don't understand. By them saying you could shoot, the DOJ under a Democratic president said it was okay to shoot my nephew 7 times in the back. Well, if it happened here, if somebody does it in St. Louis or say Michigan, will be okay. So now that they said this young man can carry a weapon, which was illegal at 17, they threw that out and shot 2 people, murdered 2 people and shot a third, and that's okay. Where? What is our world upside down? So we have to keep our poise about ourselves. We have to continue to work together. We were down at the federal building in Chicago marching with the Haitians. We're going to be with the Jamaicans. We're going to be with the Ghanaians and the African Americans. You have made a coalition that you cannot take apart. It would take us a minute and a little more fight to get what we came for. But once we capture that prize, we're going to change the world.
You know, this verdict emboldens the white supremacists. It emboldens the insurrectionists, January 6th.
Of course.
And those who want to suppress criminal justice and suppress black and brown people. The fact of the matter is, this is not the America that we have for. This is not the America that Dr. King dreamed of. And we have to continue to mobilize, organize, use peace, protest, and civil disobedience to move our nation forward. This is a sad day, but we as a people have learned how to do one thing. We've learned how to turn our pain into power.
Bishop Grant, you have been meeting with community groups here in Kenosha for the last several days, evenings after you've left the courthouse, correct? Yes. What have you been telling them, and what have you been telling them to prepare for this moment?
No matter what, no matter what has happened in our historical trek towards freedom, have we resorted to violence and looting and rioting. We have a collective commitment, a collaboration of leaders here in Kenosha and across the region to be responsible, to bear the obligation of keeping people safe and keeping our communities whole. We in the civil rights community and social justice have never been about taking lives but saving lives. We've never been about tearing communities down but building them up. We've never been about division but unity. The forces that we face right now all over this country want us to put people in harm's way, want us to continue the bloodshed that Kyle Rittenhouse put on the streets of Kenosha. We will not be distracted. We'll stay focused, and we'll save more than we lose.
You're looking forward to what's happening in Georgia? Is that the next horizon?
Ahmaud Arbery is critical to where we are right now. How does a defense attorney stand up and say black pastors can't come into a courtroom, and hundreds upon hundreds of pastors converged on Brunswick, Georgia on yesterday, along with Reverend Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, Reverend Jamal Bryant, and many, many others? That case is similar. The presumption that Ahmaud Arbery was jogging and a burglar, the presumption that they had the right to detain him under citizens arrest, an 1863 law that was used to catch runaway slaves. Imagine that in 2021. And the fact of the matter is, all the evidence in that case, points clearly a 36-second video. You had volumes of video here in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. You have a 36-second video there. But look at what the defense has done. The defense went several weeks in weeding out and making sure that they could dismiss many, many African Americans from serving on that jury. And they've tried on several times for a mistrial like the defense tried here. We cannot be daunted. We cannot be depressed. It's time to organize, mobilize, use peace and protest and civil disobedience to fight our cause.